I've been working on a free open source project these past few months. It's a game engine called Redot. I'm the senior mod on the Discord server. I mod the subreddit and the forums. I run the game jams. I have been editing the itch.io page. I've been working on some YouTube videos for the Redot engine channel. Sometimes I help write or edit announcements, and I do a bunch of other stuff behind the scenes. There's not really a title for everything I do for the Redot engine, but whatever hat needs to be worn that day, I wear it. And for those that don't know, Redot is a fork of Godot, which is one of the more popular game engines right now. But why am I working on a fork of Godot? How did we get here? To answer these questions, we got to go back a bit to where Redot started. Most people will point to the Woko tweet and say that's where it started, and that's correct, but to understand the context and build up to that moment, we got to go back a little bit further. We have to go back to September 2023. This is when Unity announced their new runtime fee. Unfortunately, I can't find too many articles about the original plans for this thing anymore. It's pushed down in the search results, and the original article that was talking about this, like that Unity posted, they rewrote it to talk about its cancellation. But basically, Unity was going to charge 20 cents for every single download of a game made with Unity. And yes, this was going to be retroactive. It was going to apply to every single game made with Unity ever. Now you might be asking yourself, well, what about game demos? What about free-to-play games? What about free games that end up on Game Pass? What if someone just uninstalls and reinstalls your game over and over again? These are the exact same questions that many developers had, and Unity basically responded with, we don't know how we're going to track that stuff, but it'll be fair. It was a peak trust us bro response. Since then, Unity has scrapped their runtime fee, the CEO resigned, and they are more or less back in the good graces of people that use their engine. But as you can imagine, there was a massive exodus of people leaving Unity after that horrible announcement. Some went on to Unreal, some went on to stuff like Default, but the biggest winner of the Unity fallout was Godot. After the jump scare of Unity's runtime fee, people started to understand the importance of FOSS, free open source software. This is where Godot comes into the picture. There's no runtime fee, there's no subscription fee, there's no percentage cut when your game makes a certain amount of money, you don't buy the engine, you don't even make an account. You just go to the website, download Godot, and you just jump straight into making your game. Game devs using Godot can rest easy at night knowing that there's no corporate overlords trying to scheme up new ways of screwing them over financially. But in September of 2024, Godot users ran into a new problem. This infamous Woko tweet that I mentioned earlier got quite a bit of attention online. Now, I had been following Godot for a couple years up until this point, and to be fair, this wasn't really anything new for them. They've always celebrated Pride Month, their Discord server icons are the Pride colors, and they've never shied away from promoting LGBTQ members in the community and their games. But for those unfamiliar with Godot and their X account, this caught a lot of people off guard. And you know how Twitter is. There were tons of responses. Sure, some of them were the standard anti-woke responses. Some people were replying and they just wanted Godot to stay out of politics. Some people just wanted Godot to focus on the game engine. But regardless of whether or not these people were actual Godot haters, they got blocked. This is the point where I think Godot lost the plot. It was the massive exile everyone who has minor criticisms part that did it for me. But if you did end up getting blocked by Godot's X account, you could just fill out this Google form and give them your Gmail and your X handle and provide a good reason for them to unban you. It's the perfect example of the problem isn't the problem is your attitude about the problem. Blocking everyone for saying things like focus on the engine or I'm having, this issue with Godot was a pretty bad move, but following it up with fill out this form explaining why you're one of the good ones, that was something else. For me, free open source software is supposed to be for everyone, and at this point it was pretty clear that Godot didn't feel that way. Sure, the engine itself is FOSS, but the people running Godot obviously wanted a very specific community of like-minded individuals. After all that, a group of people forked Godot and made Redot, an apolitical game engine focused on the community, bug fixes, and making games. It's been about 3 months now since Redot was made, and the early days were absolutely chaotic, but Redot did manage to launch a stable release with bug fixes and minor features like a horizon color and A-Star Grid 2D. Now, Redot is often criticized for being too similar to Godot. One of the main complaints I see is, oh, Redot is just Godot but red. But that's kind of the point. Redot is a Godot fork for a reason. We like the engine, we just don't like how the Godot team is mixing in their personal beliefs and feelings with the project. The Redot engine and the community behind it would never have existed if Godot was focused on the engine instead of banning people that don't agree with every single tweet that they post. And deep down, Godot knows this. Once Redot came into the picture, Godot stopped all their woke tweets. Redot made a community spotlight video, and then Godot wrote a Meet the Creator article. Redot made a roadmap, and then Godot released a priorities list. Coincidence? Maybe. They could just be avoiding more controversy by staying away from woke tweets, and they have promoted people within their own community before, but I don't know, it's the timing of it for me. And I don't recall them ever releasing a priorities list and being so open with their future plans. It certainly feels like Godot is taking notes from Redot right now, like they're doing everything they can to indirectly make this fork irrelevant. They have far more devs and millions of dollars to work with. Right now, Redot is a volunteer project, so it's no secret that Redot is not as capable as Godot when it comes to adding new features. If their plan is to improve the engine's performance, add requested features, and promote the community, then they got this. And I hope that's their plan, because that's the best case scenario for everyone. But here's the thing, even if Godot just sticks to the engine and never tweets about politics again, they've already ostracized a lot of people from their community. People with different political views, people that shared Godot's political views but did not agree with the bans, and people that don't want to be associated with politics at all. They're not welcome at Godot, and they know it. Behind the scenes at Redot, we often talk about what the future of the project looks like. And the best case scenario is we get enough support to be able to do this full time and have Redot expand upon the ideas found within the Godot engine and do it in a way that benefits our community and game devs for both engines. And the absolute worst case scenario for Redot is we just end up merging all the changes from Godot and focusing on helping the game devs in our own community. And we're okay with that. But if I'm being honest, I don't think that's how this will play out. We got a lot of things in the works here at Redot, and we're just getting started. Yeah, Redot is the underdog here, but we knew that going into this. It's what we signed up for. So if Godot wants to copy everything Redot does and do it better, that's fine. At the end of the day, we're still going to be here. We don't have anywhere else to go. If you're still watching this video, you're a real one. You should probably hit that like button and head over to the Redot website. We got a lot of stuff coming up in 2025, and you probably don't want to miss out. So that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one, and don't forget to make your game.